Well, what day is this on our holiday? Day 9?
Yeah.
I think. And all the kids were just being awkward this morning. We were going to get their steam train, but we missed it. This little Sum was having a temper tantrum. Took nearly an hour and a bit to get ready. And it's just been one of those mornings, to cut a long story short, but we're going to try and have a good day on the boat, aren't we? Just everybody has these mornings where everything's just disorganised. It's going to be a chaotic. As long as we end the day on a high. Hiya, Summer. We go on the boat? Hiya. Enjoy, have a sleep well last night, Kieran? We're going to do some more football tonight then? Football party? Alright, see you on the boat. Oh, I didn't make the train, I suppose, but look at all these. How many swans? More than 7 swans are swimming, or whatever you call it. Hundreds of them. Loads of boats and stuff. So hiya. Oh, hopefully we can find this boat to board. Hey, Summer. What we're doing? Are we on the boat? Are we on the boat? Yay!
Xander's first.
We're on the boat, on the Norfolk Broad, I think.
First real one.
Hello.
This is the vlog.
Oh, you're on the boat. Holiday vlog, holiday vlog.
Xander's and Zara's first proper boat.
Alright, it's quite full. There is upstairs. We're going to have a look upstairs as well.
Well, look, there's a bar.
Oh yeah, there's even a little kitchen and a bar. How cosy. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get some nice views.
With the river water here, and
We're on the
so I
boat.
garden envy last year when I come and see all the lovely green grass.
These houses on
Seeing
here.
them having to cut it every 3 days, I thought, oh, maybe my brown grass is alright after all.
So we're going to wave at the boats.
So we've got our second type of goose coming up on the right hand side. We've already seen the Egyptian goose, which is actually a duck, but never mind. We've got the greylegs there on the left, on the right hand side, chewing away on the new fresh seed there. And they obviously get their name for their grey in colour, but they also lag behind the rest of the birds in their migration, hence the name greylag. On the right hand side coming up, between these willow trees, anybody remember light entertainer back in the day called George Formby? Of course somebody do. Well, this was his holiday home there, cream one with the red tiles. And that's our third type of goose in the lawn there as well. See the bigger ones with the black necks and the white chin straps? That's the Canada goose. They're pretty much over the whole country now. And Canada goose is actually from Canada. Now, George Formby used to own that home as a holiday home with his wife Beryl back in the day. And when they owned it, it was called Beryldean, named after his wife. They also had 2 boats, the Lady Beryl 1 and the Lady Beryl 2. Now, she ruled George with a bit of an iron fist, so we can all see who wore the trousers in the relationship. But all you youngsters on board are thinking, yeah, of course, I know who George Formby is. He done the boxing and the grills. Now, that's George Foreman. George Formby was famous for his ukulele playing back in the day. Songs like When I'm Cleaning Windows and stuff like that. And it was actually Beryl, his wife, who convinced him to play his act, and that's pretty much what he ended up becoming famous for. We've got a couple of beautiful properties coming up on the right hand side. It's got the ladies sitting out in the garden here, so when you see them in the bench, sitting on the benches, you'll know that I'm talking about that little property. So on the right hand side, you see it's got 2 weird pitches on the roof there. It's because there's a swimming pool up there. It was once the games room to the house next door. So if you have a look in between the 2 properties shortly, you'll see a huge broad out the back and a big set of woodland. That'd be all your property if you actually bought this one. So luck is up for sale. So you can see the huge broad out the back there and all the trees, and then it's got 7 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, got a private little broad out the front full of lovely little lily pads ready to flower. It's also got a couple of boat sheds to store all your water toys in. Now if you want this, you're in luck, because you can actually have this for free. £3 million.
Have you picked which one you want yet,
There's a
Lou?
couple of things to look out. I'll be super quick. So on the right hand side there's a boat shed. There might be some little black birds coming out of there. They're called swallows. They're actually navy blue, but they look black. So keep an eye on that. On the left hand side we've also got the vintage Broadsman. So a beautiful boat on a day like this. Full open top roof so you can get the 360-degree view. However, when it rains, absolute nightmare. Especially if it's already full with its 90 capacity, because downstairs will be full and there'll be nowhere for the people upstairs to go.
What is it?
Now, thatching is still very popular here in Norfolk. Unlike the rest of the country that use straw for its thatch, we use reed. There's going to be 3 properties coming up in a row that are all thatched as we make our turn round bend here. Now the main big body part of the roof is made up of reed, and there's a top part that's got a little intricate pattern of half-crest moon shapes with triangles in between. Now that's called the ridge, and that's made up of saw sedge. It gets its name because if you rub your hand down the back of the plant, you'll actually cut your hand to pieces, very sharp indeed. So that's got very good binding quality, so that's what holds everything in place over the top there. And then on the top of the ridge you'll see a crisscross pattern of hazelwood stakes. Now if you notice, when the 3 properties all have the same pattern of on its ridge. Now that means the work was carried out by the same thatcher. They say after their 10 years of training and qualifications, they can actually become a thatcher and choose a pattern of ridge. So you'll notice the next cottage coming up that's thatched, the cream cottage, has actually got a totally different pattern. And that means the work was carried out by different thatchers, so it's a bit like an artist's signature, so you can tell who carried out the work. We've got a little day boat going to come past us on the left hand side.
Darling.
This is our full electric day boats. We've got 5 of them at the moment this year, and we're going to get 40 by the end of next year.
He's aboard.
That's great, you can get 12 people on them. And it's got a toilet on board, so if you're on it all day long, you need the toilet. And the little glass hatch at the front there, the little circle, that's where the toilet is. So when you sit on the toilet, you have to stick your head out the window. And everyone knows what you're doing. On the right hand side we've got a lovely little house built on stilts, and that's the river running underneath it. It connects Wroxham Broad, which we'll go on to shortly, to the River Bure here, so all the wildlife can use it as a cut through back to the village. So could you imagine sitting there watching all the swans and ducks go by? Wouldn't it be lovely? Or would it drive you absolutely quackers? The red flag. And the Solace, like I say, was built in 1903. Now originally they're black hulk boats and cargo ferries, so this has got a cabin on top. Well, in the early 1900s, road rail was becoming far easier and cheaper to transport goods around. So
So what you got?
So halfway through its build, they decided that they put the cabin on top of this one and actually make it special for order for a private customer.
Yeah, darling, for you.
One of the very first pleasure wherries in existence. Now, because the
what you got?
was in demise,
You got chocolate?
a few of these and thought they'd really take off for people to live on or use for holidays.
Okay.
What actually happened was people didn't like them. The Solace there.
On one of the tour boats, the Norfolk roads. Lovely. Some money's worth down here, I'll tell you. Houses have passed.
So the red used for 2 things. One, obviously it blows in the wind so they could see which direction to set their sail. And the second one, you can obviously see it way across the fields and the tree line here. And you can see it for miles and miles, so in the daytime they could see another wherry coming the other way. Now I don't know if you noticed as we made our turn there on the front of the boat, there was this white nose painted on the front. That was called white nosing back in the day, and that was used for nighttime navigation. So they didn't have lights back in the 17 and 1800s. So what they actually did was paint those white noses on the front that would reflect off the water at night, so you could
For the
see
vlog, you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Now
I saw a sailboat tip over.
Did you?
When we were back with...
It would look over you as the Eye of Odin, and they'd make sure you have safe travel across the sea. So we have speed limits on the Norfolk Broads, and that's to protect the banks from erosion. I'll talk a little bit more about that further down the river. But back down in the village there, it's 4 miles an hour, so I wasn't just going slow so you could see everything. I was actually going as fast as I'm allowed to go. Now we're out onto the open river, you're going to hold on to your hats out, because we can accelerate along the river now to an absolutely whopping 5 miles an hour.
There isn't any toilets on this boat, is there?
I need you to look out for a couple of elusive animals on our duration of our journey today. You might see a little orange blob, just like a robin that has red breast. These guys have an orange breast. Looking dead straight towards us.
Oh, I like that.
Orange robin. Another animal to look out for that's quite rare on these parts of the waters here. Other places there's loads of them. But down here there's very, very few otters. So if you do see one that's quite special down there, the rocks and then they brought here, they open up and the wood shrinks. And they can get 1 inch to 2 inches apart. So what they have to do in the spring is sink the boat once they've finished working on it. And it actually floods the boat, the entire hull. That soaks up the water and makes the planks swell again and closes the gaps. They can then repaint it white. But obviously over the summer it starts to dry out a little bit. So the cracks reappear here and there. And what I have to do once it's all soaked, really soak the water up, and then have to actually pump the water out so it refloats again. Now, I couldn't get right over in the corner to see that great crested creek, unfortunately. The water's too shallow there. Hopefully if I can make up some time, we'll come back on the Broad here and hopefully we'll be able to spot a few more. Normally there's about a dozen or so on the Broad here. So they might actually have all moved out to the river. So the real young great crested grebes, they're called greblets, and they're a lot smaller when they hatch because the nest is built on the water. They're really, really tiny when they hatch, and they can't actually swim, so they climb onto mum's back for the first 3 weeks of their life. And Dad goes around catching the fish and plumping them up a bit. And then when they get too heavy for mum, she's had enough, she just chucks them off and they either sink or swim. So hopefully when I come back on later on, we'll see quite a few more of them. There's the Queen of the Broads on the left-hand side, so that's the boat that the young boy I was talking to when we were boarding. That's the boat you were on last time. And there's also, we've got a group of swans over there with their cygnets. So it's good to see, there's a good 7 or 8 of them over there. And normally have about 10 or 12 in their brood. Now, unfortunately only normally 2 or 3-ish survive. And that's because when they're young they're very small. And they're rather tasty for some of the predators around here. Now the grey herons that we've been seeing, they won't just eat fish, they'll take some of these small birds off the water surface in the spring. And also otters, and we have huge big predatory fish called pike in the river here, and they'll take some young birds off the water surface also. Got a couple of ducklings over there on the right hand side, just by the tree line, just see them in front of mum. So that's actually really late to have some ducklings that small. And over there to the right hand side at the back of the board, you might see what looks like a continuation of the river. That's actually a man-made wherry cut over there. Doing a full circuit and loop right in front of us, in front of the boat. So hopefully some of you can see it. Here it comes down the right hand side. Hopefully Sam saw that, yeah?
That'd be quick.
You still hear it chirping away, so it's still flying around somewhere. So keep your eyes out for it.
If it was flying, that'd be quick, you wouldn't see much of it, like.
So they have a high-pitched whistle, you must have heard that around the boat, and it's a totally different sound to any other calling bird. So if you hear that high-pitched whistle again, and keep your eyes out for another one. Hopefully you might be still hanging around when we come back. At the moment their young have only hatched like over the last couple of weeks or so. So they're busy scurrying around trying to pick up quite a few of the bugs or even a few fish to take back to the nest. So they're quite active at the moment, so hopefully we'll see him on the way back, or her. So how come we've only got 8 wherries left in existence today? So So you can see they're tiny, tiny little birds there. You see all the big orange breast, and then the guys at the back will probably see the blue feathers at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Seen it before. Yeah, got it.
One a bit further away is the female, and obviously just like life, because men are scruffy, aren't we? You girls are look after yourselves much better than us men, so that's why they look more pruned there. Now these guys, I think I told you about the little babies when they hatched, didn't I? They swim on mum's, go on mum's back for a little while? Yeah, I did. Okay, I've got not much else to tell you about them then. Plus it gives us a real good chance to see the two wherries that were on board. They're obviously turned around and starting to sail back now. So you can spend a little trip on there if you just contact the Broads Authority. They'll give you what dates they're sailing or whatever.
Video update, vlog. Cozy in the tent. And it was chucking it down outside.
7.
You're playing giant Monopoly.
No, no. How much is it? Right by it.
I'll have a look. I can't see.
200.
Are you buying it?
Yeah. Shall I put it in the middle?
Just leave it there, she'll sort it. Right.
How small the notes are, man.
That's a good offer.
Tiny these notes are.
9. Is that 9?
8.
8. Sorry. 8.
What are you?
9. 1, 6.
This is mega cozy.
5, 6, 7.
Are you buying it?
The Anglo Insulin.
I saw the light must have gone out behind you.
£100.
Must be flat.
It's the Angel Islington.
Yeah, I can have it.
It's cozy.
3. Mango, please. Can I miss the turn?
I'll just like chill
No,
it
you
out.
went to Joe.
Summer's in the bed.
Still there.
Snug as a bug.